the great American story. It's about overcoming great obstacles. It's about finding the future and seizing it. It's about turning around lives. This is the story of Governor Mitt Romney these past 4 years. And this is how it started.
And everyone that I've talked with here this morning says that the first 6 months of his term will be critical because they are dealing with a tremendous budget deficit.
I don't think anybody fully appreciated how bad the situation was when the governor took office in January.
We had, in Massachusetts, unemployment of about 6%. We had thousands of jobs leaving the state.
If you said Massachusetts was in trouble, it's an understatement. Massachusetts was in crisis.
Just 4 years ago, Massachusetts faced a ballooning $3 billion deficit. But the man the state chose to meet this crisis had experience turning things around. Mitt Romney was a businessman and business strategist who had helped start hundreds of businesses and fix broken ones.
He turned around and saved a 1,000-person consulting firm that was on the brink of bankruptcy. He then went to the Olympics, which were in terrible shape.
In 1999, the Salt Lake City Winter Olympics was $379 million in deficit, and there were allegations of bribery. Our leaders turned to Mitt Romney and asked him to lead the Olympic Games.
He recruited a new team and instituted financial disciplines that brought the budget back in line, and he restored confidence. And then September 11th happened. And the Olympics were scheduled 3 months after September 11th.
I can hear you, the rest of the world hears you, and the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon. USA! 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 USA!
And what had to happen was an enormous mobilization to make sure that the games would be safe.
Everybody came together, held their hands on their hearts. They sang the national anthem in a way we'll never forget. Those are some of the great moments of the Olympics, and they inspire us. They lift us up, they make us feel better about ourselves, and they tell us what America's future is going to look like.
Thank you. Want to hug you all. Love you. Good night.
Our immediate cash crunch will require fast, hard action, and I will not delay taking it.
In his inaugural speech, he said that some necessary and hard decisions are going to have to be made.
We are facing a financial emergency. There's no easy way out of the mess.
I was a little frightened by just how much we had to accomplish, but it turned out to be an opportunity in disguise. That kind of problem meant that we could go back through government and cut out the waste and the inefficiency and the duplication. We could eliminate agencies that weren't needed. We ended up cutting more government workers than any other state in America. And these kinds of changes allowed us to balance our budget without raising taxes.
I will not raise taxes.
Massachusetts is an overwhelmingly Democratic state. To have a grown-up in the corner office, somebody who doesn't let the children play with our tax dollars, is a major asset. The retroactive capital gains tax, that pretty much would have wiped out our economy. It would have sent out a message that we were completely nuts here. And he stood up and stopped that retroactive capital gains tax. I'm not sure anybody else would have or could have done that, and I think that's one of his biggest achievements.
We have a $1 billion surplus. We're creating jobs. Matter of fact, we're up 45,000 jobs from the low point.
I'm proud to report that the state of the Commonwealth is strong and growing stronger. Massachusetts is back.
What I like best about Mitt Romney is what you see is what you get. He's a straight shooter. He tells you what's on his mind.
I've been with him many, many, many years, and I've seen him in many, many tough situations. And he's always said what he means, and he always does what he says.
I agree with 3,000 years of recorded history. I disagree with the Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts.
There's been no greater battleground for the definition of marriage than Massachusetts.
Marriage is an institution between a man and a woman.
Governor Romney is a man of faith and principle. He has certainly left a mark in holding the tide in Massachusetts for traditional values.
Mitt Romney cares, and he is fearless. I know that he is a man of compassion. He is a man of integrity. The kind of character that he has and the concerns that he has. He believes in family. He's always wanted to know what was going on and how he could help.
Probably the toughest part of my experience in the last 4 years has been speaking with and meeting with the families who've lost a loved one in Iraq or Afghanistan. On one occasion, standing next to an aircraft as the casket was lowered out of the airplane, and standing with the family as they weep and looking up into the terminal and seeing people look out those windows with their hands on their hearts, and to know the pain and the suffering of those families as they've lost a husband or a father or a child. That's the toughest part of the job, and yet it's a responsibility that I feel honored to hold.
Massachusetts can be the first state in the nation where every one of its citizens has health care coverage.
I don't want to raise taxes. I don't want Hillary care in Massachusetts, but I put a team together.
He said he was going to think outside the box.
Republicans and Democrats, really bright people, worked for over 2 years.
And he and his administration made a proposal that was very much outside the box with regard to creativity and just plain old ingenuity.
And we came up with a program that gets everybody in our state health insurance that they can afford without a government takeover and without new taxes.
The smart money would have been betting that it wasn't going to happen. I guess they were wrong. How unusual.
It's a tough job to be governor. There are people pounding on you and beating up on you from all sides. But Governor Romney remains calm throughout all of this angst. I really think he has an inner strength. He has a real sense of himself that allows him to be calm and thoughtful.
Children always watch what you do more than what you say, and I think they've watched their father serve in many ways. I'm very proud of my husband and the kind of role model he's been to my children, I think the most proud.
Probably the toughest day in our life was going to the doctor and finding out that Ann had MS.
I knew something was seriously wrong, started having problems, tripping, was running into walls, was, really, my whole right side went numb, and was pretty frightened. I knew I was very sick. I think there were days that were worse than others. There were some days I couldn't get out of bed at all. And Mitt was very supportive during that time, and he's the one that pulled me through it and gave me the courage to go on. We met a long time ago. We were both in high school. We've been going steady for a long, long time and have enjoyed a lot of adventures together in the last 36 years, 5 sons, 5 daughter-in-laws, 8 grandchildren later. Here we are.
Wouldn't you think she'd know how long we were married?
I'm not quite sure.
It's 37 years.
It is. It's 37.
A lot of people don't know the real Mitt.
I'm Mitt Romney.
There's a guy that is pretty funny, but not as funny as he thinks he is.
Do solemnly swear and affirm. Do solemnly swear and affirm.
He's always got jokes, but they're not always funny.
I think they are.
Oh, no, they're not.
All the duties incumbent on me as. All the duties incumbent upon me as. The Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. He's quick.
To use a Massachusetts term, he's wicked smart, okay? He's not just sort of smart, he's wicked smart.
He's pointed, he questions, he wants to see data.
He's one of those guys who can absorb a ton of information very quickly, and within that, find the 2 or 3 things that really matter.
He paid attention to the business of government and got it done.
Governor Mitt Romney has left this state in a better place than it was when he came in.
I think Mitt Romney's always going to look for ways to give back.
Overcoming great obstacles.
As a symbol of the fire that drives you to fulfill your dreams.
Turning things around despite the odds.
To learn, to innovate.
Seeing the future when others can't.
It's a spirit of leadership.
And leading people there.
It is this spirit we will draw upon.
That's always been the great American story.
And it's because of this spirit that we cannot fail. God bless the people.
It still is. The Governor of Massachusetts, Mitt Romney.